Good afternoon and welcome to People's Voice on VOP TV, where we dive into the stories that shape our nation. My name is Adefunke Jaisimi, and today we are tackling a topic that's got everyone talking. And this is something that may interest you, so let me break it down. The former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, has raised concerns about the potential risk of a one-party system in Nigeria, warning it could destabilize the country's fragile democracy. Discussion comes at a time when political dynamics are shifting and the implications for governance and stability are being closely watched. Considering Nigeria's experience with the People's Democratic Party, PDP's 16-year rule, the question on most people's mind is, could history repeat itself, as a lot of people have dragged this template, as summarized this template to mean the same thing that former President Olusegun Obasanjo was about? And for some others, what are the potential consequences of unchecked political dominance, and how can Nigeria's democracy be strengthened with situations like this, and how do we prevent such outcomes? Also in Abia State, the Governor Alex Oti, has rejected his suspension by a factional leader of the Labour Party, calling it illegitimate. In a bold move, he also urged the police to arrest Julius Abure, accusing him of impersonation. He also said that there is a development that adds another layer to the ongoing internal conflicts within the Labour Party, and with all of the things happening now, the factional parties and of course the overall party. So the Labour Party has different segments or factions as it is now, but it's saying that the overall leadership of the Labour Party has also suspended Julius Abure. So a lot of questions are being asked about the party's internal democracy and the rule of law, and how will this power struggle play out, and what implications will it have for the party's future, and also for the governor of Abia State, who is the only governor under the Labour Party, Governor Oti's administration. And meanwhile, a disturbing incident also shaking Kogi State, where gunmen have abducted 18 bus passengers. This latest attack raises concerns about the effectiveness of security measures, and it highlights that needs for urgent action to protect lives of Nigerian citizens. What are the root causes of this insecurity, and how can the government address them to ensure the safety of Nigerians? Because these are questions that we keep asking every time there's a news about attacks, kidnaps, killings, and of course insurgency. But looks like the answers are not coming anytime soon. But these stories are at the forefront of today's conversation, and we would be exploring the implications, reactions, and also the potential outcomes as we analyze the issues shaping Nigeria's political and social landscape. So stay tuned for in-depth discussion and expert analysis today, and also join the conversation by texting us on 090-447-32605 or tweet us using the hashtag People's Voice on VOPTV. Do well to also subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the People TV, and follow us across all social media platforms at VOPTV Live. Let's make your voice heard and get real informed and engaged on People's Voice. It's time to go on a quick break. People's Voice will return shortly. Stay with us. Glad to have you stay on the People's Voice this beautiful afternoon. So there was an event yesterday, that's the memorial lecture held in honor of the late elder statesman Chief Edwin Clark in Abuja on Wednesday. And the former president of Nigeria, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, harped on the dangers of political manipulations aimed at sidelining opposition parties, noting that even though countries like Tanzania practice a one-party system, he said that it was properly planned for and cannot be compared to what we have in Nigeria. According to him, he said, yes, a one-party state may not be evil after all, because Julius Nyerere of Tanzania used a one-party state to stabilize his country in the early days of independence. But for Nigeria, it feels like, just like many other countries dealing with a lot of tribes and tongues, he said, Nigeria had too many tribes and tongues and two principal religions, Christianity and Islam. On my part, I might just ask the indigenous worship styles that we explore here, depending on which part of this religion you choose to believe in. But if we allow multiple parties, some may follow religious line, others tribal, and unity will be difficult. But it was properly planned and it was not by accident. This is Jonathan referring to what happened in Tanzania and comparing it to what is likely to happen in Nigeria if we have a one-party system. And he said that if we must, as a nation, adopt a one-party system, then it must be designed, planned by experts, and we must also know what we are getting into. But a lot of people will ask, who are the experts that we really want to ask? Which experts might sit down to plan these things? Because we still have the Oronsoye, but let me not get into details. Before we get into all of this, it's important to understand the position of the former president. And he said that in strong terms that if we arrive at this one-party system through the backdoor political manipulations, then we are heading for crisis. Because for him, what is happening in Nigeria in the political landscape right now, for him, is political manipulation. And he says that this is not the way to go. But to discuss this beautiful afternoon, I have in the studio with me Mr. Peter Anosike, in-house senior analyst at Voice of the People TV. Good afternoon, Mr. Anosike.
Thank you for having me.
Glad to have you join the show today and, of course, share your expertise on these pressing issues that Nigerians are really concerned about. But first, let's talk about former President Goodluck Jonathan's warning about the dangers of a one-party system in Nigeria. What's your take on this, and do you think it is a realistic concern for Nigeria's democracy?
Well, it is realistic because I don't even understand what Goodluck Jonathan is talking about. A one-party state is not democracy. The beauty of democracy is the choice. When you don't have a choice, it is not democracy. Understand me? Yeah. When you don't have a choice, it is not a democracy. If you have a single political party and they come up with a candidate and you cannot choose, it is not a democracy. So there's no way democracy, a one-party state can be good. One-party state means autocracy, because whoever emerges as the candidate of the party becomes a president. Yeah. There's nothing again that the people can do. And we know the condition of Tanzania in the 60s when Julius Nyerere became the president. What is their population? So you cannot compare Tanzania and Nigeria. And Tanzania is kind of a one people state. Yeah. Understand me? So it can work there. One party state is working in North Korea because it is one people. But it cannot work where there are multicultural, multilingual, and so on and so forth. And our population is too big for a one-party state. More than 220 million people.
Even beyond the population, I think that our diversities are the major concerns here. I mean, we speak so many languages in just one country. Even for the regions within the Southwest alone, beyond having the original Yoruba, you have a lot of dialects. Same thing with the Southeast.
The Ijebus,
exactly. The Ijebus speak a language that is not the same with the Egbas, and we are within the same Ogun State.
The Ibadan.
Yeah, but it's even easier. If you cross a bit to Osun State, they are speaking something different. Then you go across, move straight to Ondo and Ekiti State. So they can't even understand each other's languages.
Choice is the beauty of the democracy.
Right.
At least between two people, we choose one. Understand me? Then if just a one-party state, it is an imposition. Because any candidate that the party picks automatically becomes the president, whether the masses want that person or not. So for me, it is a danger to democracy, and it must not be allowed because it simply means autocratic system of government.
But do you think this is like the former president or the People's Democratic Party preempting the ruling All Progressives Congress? Do you think that the All Progressive Congress are about making this country a one-party system?
Jonathan spoke as a statesman.
Right.
He had not been active as a PDP member.
Okay.
Throughout 2023, he never identified himself as a PDP member. He never attended any PDP meeting. So for me, I thought that he expressed his personal concern, understand, as a citizen of this country and as a former president.
Okay, we understand that he expressed himself as an elder statesman. As a matter of fact, he was even one of the people that first congratulated President Bola Ahmed Tinubu upon declaration as president of Nigeria. But let's explore this further, Mr. Anosike. Considering Nigeria's experience with the People's Democratic Party's 16-year rule, don't you think that former President Jonathan's warning about the dangers of a one-party system is particularly relevant? And doesn't his own experience as a leader during that period give weight to his concerns? Looking at how the campaign happened, we saw what happened at their conference, at the convention, the proposed convention at the time, how the party just seemed empty within a space of months, and what happened eventually.
Well, I know that what is in the mind of APC is that PDP ruled for 16 years. Therefore, we must rule for 16 years. Understand? And by 2027, they must have completed their 12 years, remaining 4 years, which is to end in 2031. So after 2031, what happens? But for me, Goodluck Jonathan is a Democrat. He's a Democrat. He expressed it. He showed it when he said that his ambition shouldn't be more than a life of a Nigerian. Understand me? So he is a Democrat. He allowed APC to be re-registered, even though he is aware that it's going to be a problem to him. Okay. He allowed the APC to be registered, even though he knew that it's going to be a problem to him. Understand? Because if I was in his position, I would not have registered the APC.
Well, why would you have registered APC?
They are going to challenge me. They are going to be there's self-survival, understand me, is the beginning of wisdom.
But self-survival is not something that you can totally link to political survival, because there were people in...
They are linked. They are linked. They are linked.
Okay, so for you have to link your personal survival to whatever political
survival.
But really, at the time, there was a lot of factions even within the PDP before the final breakout. And it was obvious, the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, already having a fallout with the then president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, tearing his card as a member of the People's Democratic Party, already sent a signal to the public. And of course, Atiku Abubakar not being patient enough to wait for his time, as they say, walking out of that convention, having the likes of Sarakis and all go with him, were a major problem for the PDP to deal with at the time. Don't you think that Jonathan at the time was just about breathe and let everybody breathe, and whatever happens?
But that's why I say that he is a Democrat. Even when that thing was happening, he was still the commander-in-chief.
Right.
Understand? And he said that he never exercised up to 10% of his powers as a president. That he never exercised up to 10%. So he could have arrested some people. He could have stopped the APC from being registered. He could have sacked Atahiru Jega, the INEC chairman at that time. But as a Democrat, he didn't do all that.
So it was more particular about the process. Do you think that the process was actually working at the time? Do you think we had a working system, even though you think that he was a Democrat?
Government is just about the heart of the person that's in power. Understand me? People are talking about that Nigeria has a bad constitution. It is not about the constitution, the person that is using that constitution. An instance, the Bible is the constitution of the Christians.
Right.
But some pastors are using the same Bible to do people. Understand me?
The same Bible that is supposed to be the constitution to guide and protect Christians.
To do people.
So they are using it to do that's your own words, Mr.
They will
Nosike.
take a section in the Bible.
Okay.
So it depends on the person that is holding that constitution, or the person that is holding that Bible or Quran. What kind of heart does that person have?
All right, that's quite important because, like you rightly said, you can have 10 pastors open the same verse of the Bible and interpret it in different ways. So that's quite understandable. But also, do you think that the current political landscape with the All Progressives Congress dominance bears any resemblance to the People's Democratic Party role?
Well, I can say that what is happening now, we've been lacking to what happened under the Obasanjo time. Because Yar'Adua was not dictatorial. Yar'Adua even said that the election that brought him into power was not right. And he wanted a reform of the electoral process.
But that was the first thing that was on his table.
Understand me?
Right.
But Obasanjo was dictatorial. And we can pity him because of his background. He came from the military. So a barrack person and somebody that's from the other side are not supposed to behave the same way.
What's the difference? I mean, if you are a democratically elected leader, you should act like one.
Your background is very, very important. You cannot be bigger than your environment.
So would you say that
your environment shapes who you
So would you want the All Progressives Congress to enjoy the same benevolence if you say that General Buhari also had the same background as Obasanjo, being a former
No, I say what's happening
leader?
now is like what happened there. I want a situation that happened under Umaru Musa Yar'Adua and Goodluck Jonathan. That's free space for everybody.
Because the beginning of the All Progressives Congress was with General Muhammadu Buhari, former President Muhammadu Buhari, and the beginning of the Fourth Republic in 1999 for People's Democratic Party was with former President Olusegun Obasanjo. So can we say that can we say that the resemblance in their style of leadership could potentially lead to similar consequences if not checked?
Well, let me tell you where this thing began. Before independence,
right,
the colonial masters were encouraging Northerners to enter the army. They say that rulers of Nigeria will be emerging from the army. And that's what is happening. Understand me? You are talking of a democratic government. The first person, 1999, was a retired military officer.
Yeah.
Then that's the beginning of PDP, the beginning of APC, retired. So it's what the Europeans have seen many years ago, and that's what is happening. And the person that is likely going to succeed Tinubu, even though not from the army, but from one of the force.
You are predicting into the future already, or you can't see it, you are so sure about that.
Sure.
Okay, the concern of the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, and some might say his warning about the dangers of a one-party system might be valid if you ask a lot of Nigerians. But there's a report. We had our correspondent Matthew Oguswada go on the streets, talk to the people, and got reactions as to what they think about the submission by the former president, Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, understanding what their takes are and the realistic concern for Nigeria's democracy. Let's take a listen.
Is trying to do, but we should not allow one-party system because of competitive nature. Because even in advanced countries like America, UK, there are many parties there, and one party will win, the other party will win the other time. So we should not have one-party state. We should be able to have even many more parties so that we can bring ideas.
Let's talk about Sierra Leone. As small as they have up to 4-party system as Sierra Leone and Liberia, Sierra Leone, and if you go to Guinea-Bissau, all these countries are West African countries. So when you go to Guinea-Bissau, they have 4-party system. How can you count about Nigeria that have in structure that have one party? To me, it's not I never see it.
Multi-party system where people's voice will be heard. One-party system will lead to a state of anarchy. There will be no freedom of speech, no freedom of anything. It cannot work. Anybody who thinks that one-party system will work should think twice. It's not democracy. So it's to bring a state of anarchy. So I don't propose for that.
So guys, one-party system is not good for the country. So we need to have like 2-party or 3-party. So that's what I'm thinking about. Right. And it's good. Only one stick, you cannot steal a forest. So it's not good to be going one. We have to have another option.
As we've heard various opinions from citizens and with the former president's call, the message is clear. Democracy must be protected through inclusion, transparency, and respect for diverse political voices. Matthew Oguswada, reporting for Voice of the People TV.
Yeah, thank you, Matthew Oguswada, for that report, even though short but well put together. Mr. Anosike, you heard even citizens talking about how this is not the best way to go.
Rejecting one-party state.
Exactly. I like the fact that one of the interviewees even mentioned that even America, that we look up to, even the UK, do not have one-party system. And someone said Sierra Leone, I don't know, maybe it's been there or it's lived there before, but as small as Sierra Leone is, they do not even practice one-party system. And the last person spoke on the fact that one tree can never make a forest, that there is beauty in diversity. How do you react to this?
For me, they spoke well because one-party state is autocracy and never democracy. The beauty of democracy is that choice. That's choosing between more than one party. Understand? Because it gives you a sense that if this one is not doing well, I can go to the other one. So having a one-party state is just putting a scorpion, lizard, snake inside a basket.
Right.
And there's no way.
Cohabiting will definitely be difficult in that situation.
Sure.
But really, we've asked a lot of questions as to what could be the real cause of these defections that we are seeing. We've got a lot of answers, even though a lot of analysts and even statesmen feel that, oh, there must be some political undertone and there is more than the eyes can meet. But in your opinion, do you think that the All Progressives Congress has that strength to be able to manipulate people from other parties to join the All Progressive Congress? Or do you think that the political class are formed like an elite system and it's more about their own understanding than what the masses think?
One, everything in the world is about interest. It is about interest. For what is happening now, APC is a bad product.
Okay.
Going by that, I measure government by the quality of life of the people, because that's what government is all about. Government is about the people. If it's not about the welfare or the well-being of the people, I don't need to pay tax to anybody. I'll be using that money that's by myself. So going by the quality of life of Nigerians, APC is a bad product. And people don't embrace bad products. So what is happening now is, one, self-survival on the part of the politicians. Understand me? Self-survival, an instance in Delta State. Since 2011, Festus Keyamo has been warming up to run for the governorship of Delta State. He has aspired. He has bought nomination form but did not get a nomination on 2 occasions. So he felt that 2027 will be the right time for him.
2027, when the Governor Sheriff will be running for a second term?
For a second term. But he's in the ruling party. Understand me? And remember Ned Nwoko. Ned Nwoko crossed over from PDP to APC. And his only intention is to run for the governor of the state.
So where is Ovie Omoagege in all of this?
No, that's I'm building a story. What I'm trying to tell you is the reason why the PDP governor, Sheriff, they come to APC. It's for self-survival. Because he felt that it's only in APC that he is sure of getting his second term. Understand me? Because, you know, APC never won Edo. Edo was captured. The national chairman of APC was not using that word. We are going to win, we are going to win. We are going to capture Edo, we are going to capture Ondo, we are going to capture Oyo.
I get that, but let's dwell a bit on this Delta story, because if Sheriff is about the second term, Delta State has consistently won. I mean, PDP has consistently won election in Delta State, even though you might question the process, because at the time where Oduah was governor, Great Ogboru was always in court. As a matter of fact,
ran under APC.
No, Ogboru did not. Yes. Ogboru did not run under ACN. Ovie Omoagege ran under ACN.
I'm not talking of 2023. Ogboru has run under ACN.
When Oduah was governor,
he had been running. Ogboru had been running.
Yes, he has been running as long as Atiku has been running.
16 years now. Understand me?
Right.
So now he felt that what he's going to do is to cross over and stop the other people. He is now in APC. They have made him the leader of APC in Delta State. Okay. Which is part of the negotiations before he defected.
Yeah. So what's the position of Sheriff? Festus Keyamo, Ned Nwoko in all of this?
Is licking his wound. Ned Nwoko is licking his wound. Omoagege is licking his wound. Understand? So the issue now is, now they are going to give him the ticket, because that is the negotiation he had before the campaign joining. Mind you, Emmanuel Udara once crossed over to APC and later go back that to PDP. So 2 days ago, he has crossed over again to APC. That shows there's no ideology, there's no principle. Understand? So these people are feeling that it's only in APC that their second term will be guaranteed. Pastor.
But why so?
Because
what is the challenge? What are the possibilities of having...
They use the federal might to manipulate the electoral process in the country.
But even in the last election, people from different political parties won elections across being governors to House of Representatives to House of Assembly, even to the Senate. We have the most diversified in history of Nigeria when it comes to winning elections in 2023. So what exactly do you think? The All Progressive Congress, and that was President Muhammadu Buhari.
Muhammadu Buhari wasn't interested in the election. Understand me? His candidate did not emerge.
But the election that brought Muhammadu Buhari back for his second term also had other political parties surviving. What is the thing about APC? What has changed about APC that is changing the political landscape?
That's why I'm talking about the person presiding over the party. The individual is more important than even the constitution.
Okay, so according to Mr. Peter Anosike, the individual driving the in charge of the process, in charge of the political process matters more than the constitution, in his words, and that is referring to the All Progressives Congress dominance, and of course, maybe there's a bit of resemblance to what the People's Democratic Party have done in the past.
For if I understand me, he has a case with the EFCC.
There's hardly a former governor in Nigeria.
No, Peter Obi never had a case.
That's where the clause of hardly came in. You might not use exactly never, but there's hardly a former governor in Nigeria that has not had a case with whether ICPC or the EFCC.
He has a health issue.
So they always, it looks like I said earlier, it looks like the political class has created a different system that maybe the masses don't exactly know what is going on there.
The reality is different from that of the masses.
Okay, whatever the case is, we will get more details as the stories unfold. But let's go on a quick break. When we return, we'll talk about the internal conflicts within the Labour Party. Stay with us. All right, many thanks for staying with us. Let's get back straight into the issues at hand. And we're still grappling with the internal conflicts within the Labour Party, where the governor of Abia State, Alex Otti, has rejected his suspension by a factional leader, Julius Abure, and has even called for his arrest, petitioning the IGP on grounds of impersonation. This development raises questions about the party's internal dynamics and the potential implications for Governor Otti's administration. And furthermore, the security situation in Kogi State remains there, with gunmen abducting 18 bus passengers. This incident, very sad incident, highlights the need for urgent action to protect citizens and prevent further attacks. I had to put those stories together because those are the major stories that have left a lot of Nigerians concerned. The Labour Party is a party of interest to a lot of Nigerians, particularly the young generation, looking at their antecedents and how the old party came by prior to the 2023 general election. A lot of young people saw Labour Party as that party that doesn't have much stain and maybe with a little bit of lesser evil in their words. But to talk about all of this, I'm still with Mr. Peter Anosike, in-house senior analyst, and I want us to talk about this event happening in the Labour Party, Mr. Anosike. Let's start with the Labour Party crisis. Do you think that Governor Otti's move about Abure or against Abure is a sign of deeper power struggle within the party? And what are the potential consequences for the Labour Party's future? Because I know that you spoke about this on the issues yesterday, because it's quite funny. It's not even shocking. It's funny to see that an Abure will come to say that he's suspending 3 notable people in the party. But for you, is it a sign of deeper power struggle within the party?
Well, I don't know how much you know about football. Because why political parties struggle to win states is because state fund parties. local government fund parties. So when you now suspend who's supposed to be the main donor to your party, how do you want to run that party?
No, it might be about values for him. It might be beyond money. I mean, before 1999, political parties used to have the major say in how the parties are run. It was the Obasanjo style that evolved political parties from funding itself from the members so they can be able to control their aspirants to an extent. It was Obasanjo that made that shift. So for him, he might just have a value system that is taking a throwback into the past. So it might not just be about funding for him, it might be about values.
The only time that we had the masses funding parties was under Obafemi Awolowo. Understand? The AG action group then was when people, the masses were funding AG under the time of Awolowo, and that was when it ended. 1979 upwards, when MPP, MPN, UPN, understand me, GMPP, that's Ibrahim Waziri. That was when money entered into politics.
Well, none of that, those republics were able to, they were not sustained for the longest period. I mean, this is like the longest we've had.
Sure. And again, there were no internet, there were no social media.
So no engagement as it were.
To be escalating, so everything was just under wraps.
Okay.
So we are now doing a lot of things because of social media.
Right.
And so the issue is today is politicians, state government, local government are the backbone of the political parties. Understand me? So, and they are the people that are supposed to, just like anybody elected under Labour Party, supposed to be contributing to the funding of the party. And now you are suspending those people who are supposed to be helping, because politics is money.
Right.
Understand me? So what this simply shows you is that he is being funded from outside the party.
But do you ever look at
the
anti-party, his own case, the cases he made? Excuse me.
Excuse me. What kind of going by the Supreme Court the decision? Is he supposed to be the national chairman of the party?
Going by the Supreme Court
decision.
But I've just said this because you have talked about...
I'm talking about...
No, let's put it side by side. You've talked about the fact that there is a big possibility of having external influence, which cannot be taken out of the equation because we know how politics work in this country. But I'm saying beyond this, do you ever took time to look at the cases he made against these people?
Excuse me, what qualifies him to make that case?
Okay, so in your opinion, whatever is happening...
That's why he is an impostor. That's why the governor called the IG...
Yeah, petition the IGP.
To arrest him, because he's no more the national chairman of the party. So what he's doing is illegal.
But do they have factions in the Labour Party? Are you aware?
They have factions now. Nanadi Osman is heading the caretaker committee. It seems that Arabambi and Abata funding dried out or was suspended. So there are crises in all the parties in the country, all the parties.
So with the crisis within these political parties and factions here and there, do you still think that Abure did not think that he had the office or had the position to make such claims?
He has no power to do what he did.
Okay, let's talk about Alex Otti now, the governor of Abia State. For a lot of people, it's not doing badly for a first-timer, and it looks more like a big revolution looking at the experience when it comes to governance in Abia State and how much the people have benefited from democracy. But what are the potential consequences for the future of Alex Otti in the party? Do you see him as one person that the party should hold on to regardless of what is positioning in the political drama that is happening now. Because recall there was an interview where he was asked about the policies of the president, which he totally agreed with. And so they asked him about the economy. He said, yes, the economy isn't doing badly. So what are the possibilities of having him dribble between surviving as a candidate and a member of the Labour Party and also playing in the political landscape in Nigeria?
Well, for me now, I'm from Abia State. It is now that Abia has witnessed dividends of democracy.
Yeah.
The 24 years of PDP was a waste. The first governor, Orji Uzor, 8 years, he never laid any foundation for his successor to build on. So it is now that Alex is in power that we are witnessing a development in Abia. That good news is coming from Abia for the first time.
Have you been to Abia since he became governor? 2
times.
Wow.
I'm from Umuahia, understand? And even if I go to
Umuahia, okay, the capital.
Even if I go to Umuahia now, I ask questions because everywhere has changed. And understand me? But under the PD, I don't want to mention party. Under Orji Uzor, under Theodoji, under Okezie Ikpeazu, because the person driving or the car is more important than the car. So, because a good driver can manage a bad car.
No, the car is important too.
A good driver can manage a bad car.
The pilot in America tried to manage the helicopter that flew our dear Abat Igwe, according to reports. So I think the driver is as important as the well-being of the vehicle too.
So that's why I don't want to mention parties.
Okay.
Because the governor of Enugu State is in PDP and he is doing well. So it's not just about parties, it's about the individual.
So should I say that going forward, we can actually look at candidates and not just the political parties?
That's the way to go.
So whether they choose to run under the People's Democratic Party, APGA,
that's
APC,
the way to go,
Labour
but
Party.
it shouldn't be APC. It should never be APC. It should never be APC.
It should never be APC. This is
if Jesus joins APC, I resign from being a Christian.
That's blasphemy, actually. That's blasphemy. That's your personal opinion. But let's also talk about Kogi State and regarding the Kogi State kidnapping. What do you think is the most effective way for the government to address the security challenges facing the state, and what role can community engagement play in preventing such incidents? Because it's in the news, and it's funny how these things are not even breaking anymore.
I don't know if you have taken time to listen to Idris Abdul Karim's song.
Which one? The one that was banned?
Tell your papa.
Oh, I've never listened to it.
Okay, I have listened to it over
and over again. Tell us about it.
And I joined listening to it. So he said if Sheyi feels that his father is doing well, let him drive from Sokoto without securities to Abuja. Let us see what will happen. Understand me? And some months back, Nuhu Rebadu,
right,
understand, and said that Nigeria roads are very, very free, that you can travel anywhere and nothing will happen.
You know, that's the most heart-wrenching part of this style of leadership, where they always have something to say, but not too much action to justify those words.
And the man I mentioned now may be or you are president in 2031.
He actually ran as president in 2011. Yes, against Goodluck Jonathan. Because I remember I was in Delta State then,
okay.
and under AC, and then
under
that was
Ovio
Mwagege was their governorship candidate at the time. And you would wonder what exactly forms the thoughts. How do these people think about Nigeria? Because is it that they just sit down in an office, get results, or they just want to say things to just maybe appealing to the media?
Or they feel that Nigerians are gullible.
I don't think they would think Nigerians are gullible.
Nigerians are stupid. Excuse me. Naim Mohammed, as a minister, said that nobody is hungry in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Nai Mohammed as a minister. There was a time that Abuja was experiencing gridlock because of bad road. Nai Mohammed said that the reason for go slow in Abuja is because Buhari government is favoring Nigerians and they are buying lots and lots of cars. That is why there's a traffic problem in Abuja. So they know how to.
But do these things matter to Nigerians? Don't you think that there are some people we should hear or listen to in the news and just know that, okay, this man is doing the job is being paid for?
But you cannot, no secretary in America, no secretary in UK can spend such line in UK or in America and remain in office for more than 24 hours.
But the same man also said that he became embarrassed when even his own grandchildren had to ask him that why do they call you Lai Mohammed? So it was obvious that he even knew that he was doing too much for the cameras. But still talking about insecurities, what options do Nigerians have? How do we protect ourselves? Because these things started like a small business. It used to be a breaking news. It used to be something that happens and get the whole country talk about. But now, it feels like when we hear, oh, this happened in Kogi, the next minute we hear that this happens in Asaba. And everybody just moves on like, oh, we pray that God help. Exactly. So it now becomes something that we are only praying for.
Big news.
Exactly. So how do we protect ourselves? What's the way forward?
So for me, guns are in a lot of wrong people's hands. That is one of the reasons. A lot of guns are entering into this country and going into a lot of wrong people's hands. Kidnapping has become a lucrative business. Understand?
Right.
Kidnapping has become a lucrative business. These 18 passengers that they kidnapped, they are going to tell them, start calling you are people.
Right.
Understand me? Because they have seen it as a business. Understand?
A lucrative one at that.
So there's nowhere kidnappers make more money than they make in this country. And again, our roads are not protected. There's no, in the other countries, they use electronics gadgets to track the roads. But here, even Abuja, which is the Federal Capital Territory, you can kidnap somebody and go free.
Well, that's because maybe some people choose not to do their jobs properly, because we've also seen situations where the police have been able to track people down based on their phone calls and just phone numbers. They've been able to track locations and got them. But thank you very much for joining us on People's Voice this afternoon.
Yeah,
it's always a delight having you analyze these stories the best relatable way to the common man. All right, to our viewers, thank you so much for tuning into today's edition of People's Voice. We've had a thought-provoking discussion on the potential risk of a one-party system in Nigeria, and we also had that street report getting reactions from Nigerians and looks more like it's a no-no for a lot of citizens. And also we talked about the internal conflicts within the Labour Party and the security challenges facing Kogi State and Nigeria at large. As we wrap up today's program, we encourage our listeners to continue the conversations on these critical issues. Your voice and opinions matter, and we look forward to engaging you with further topics that relate to Nigerian citizens. My name is Adefunke Jaisime, and I strongly believe in this Project Nigeria. Until next time, thank you so much for joining People's Voice. Bye.